Hello everyone, it's Norman Kochnick here. A little bit dishevelled, but I'm here. How are we all? This is a big night. Obviously, to start with, the Royal Challengers Bangalore have actually won the toss, selected to bowl, or I say field, but we know how wrong that statement is. That's one thing, but obviously the more important, well, you would argue there's a level of importance. The Australia-Pakistan T20 International, the only game is on tonight, and that's between obviously Australia and Pakistan. The RCB game, albeit important for RCB, and obviously they may see it as extremely important, and Rajasthan Royals will see it as very important, but it's probably going to be, slightly overshadowed by the Australian-Pakistan match. Would you not agree? So it's going to be the focus. Had some news about Mohsen Sheikh, who's normally on our show. He unfortunately is going to, and Himanshu Ravel is asking whether Josh English will play today. Well, as far as I'm concerned, he's in the side. And also Ashton Agar will probably be in their side as well, based on the fact that they are the original T20 players. Both have been in quarantine with COVID-19. Both have recovered. Both have went to training. So you saw what the video that I have seen. It is clear that I actually posted a video on the training sessions, and Josh English looked quite fine, and so did Ashton Agar. So you would imagine that both Agar and Josh English will play. But as I said, RCB, Royal Challengers Bangalore, which they're starting to get their players back, actually. I think Josh Hazlewood's about to rejoin. I think it was in a matter of days. Obviously, they've got a great squad, as we all know, and they probably will have a team that will be, I'm believing to be unbeatable, but have to wait and see about that, but definitely. So, as I've said before, RCB, I'm going to just post this, won the toss and elected to bowl. And as I very often say to people, you don't elect to field. No one wants to field. They want to bowl and bat. It's a bizarre concept, as elected to field. Quite wrong. So don't you think that Cam Green plays though only for one match? Well, he wasn't part of the original squad at all, and I know that nor was Swepson, and nor was actually Travis Head for the matter of fact. But they're all trying to press for selection. But I don't think they're going to go with him. I think it's important to stay true to the T20 format team. And Zajan Aslam says Bubba's no one. Bubba Azam. Every single Australian player that's played against in this series, whether it's the Test matches or the ODIs, and probably the T20, have raved about how good he is and how incredibly awestruck now by his batting. And the world has to realise this is not just simply Coley, Williamson, Smith, Root, those sort of batsmen who are given the credit. It has to be Burrows included. Finch needs to step up. He certainly does. There's none about that at all. Let me just put some eye drops in, guys. I've got a bit of a sore eye here. No, I'm real. There I go. My eyes might improve slightly now. All right. Finch needs to step up with his batting, not with his captaincy, as he is the reigning World Cup captain. You can't get better than that, can you? You can't get better than being the World Cup reigning holder. And let's not forget the Australian women. How good were they? They won the T20 World Cup just before COVID hit in 2020. Now they're the holders of the ODI World Cup. And in fact, the seventh, 5-2, seventh. Pretty damn impressive. If Australia bowl first, I think Australia have a big chance to win. I think that's the go. It's just singular. So let's see if we can see any So it seems like RCB would have won the toss. Interesting, both. It is interesting, both RCB and so RCB and both teams are. Here we are. I'm just going to add this, guys. It is significant to and paste. Okay. So it is significant to look at the way that the two teams have both played. You'd have to think that Pakistan's are bloody favourites. You know, realistically, it is something that to hold actually the way they play the ODI series. Best they absolutely smashed Australia in the decider. Absolutely smashed them. It was a 214 and they passed with only one wicket down. It says everything, really. It's quite an incredible performance from the Pakistan team. Just so, can Baba scored a century today? Well, Jack Delgado, he has done it in the Test arena, the ODI arena. So has Imam al-Haq. Although Imam al-Haq's not expected to play for the T20 side. So yes, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he be? Let me just boy with the IPL team just for a moment. RCB have got Faf du Plessis as captain with Anuj Rawat with Kohli at 3, Dennis Karthik at 4, Shafane Rutherford, who's been keeping very well, 5, Shabazz Ahmed 6, Wanindu Hazaranga, the gem of a leg spinner, at 7, Harshal Patel 8, 9, David Willey 10, Mohammad Siraj 11, Akash Deep. So they're still waiting on Hazelwood to join them, and even Barrendorf, and obviously Glenn Maxwell. Rajasthan Royals have Josh Butler, who scored that magnificent century the other day. Yashavi Jaswal, who's predicted to be another legend. Devdutt Padikkal, of course, is a very good player. Then they've got Sanju Samson, who normally opens. This is at 4. Shimron Hetmeyer is starring himself. At 5, Rian Parag at 6. Avishchandra Ashram at 8. Navdeep Sami at 8. So 7, Ashram, 8, Navdeep Sami, 9, Trent Bolt, 10, Prasadi Krishna, and 11 is Yuzvendra Chahal. That's a pretty bloody good side too. So it's pretty action-packed. Yeah. So that's enough on that team. Those things. We'll come back to that a bit later. The Australian-Pakistan T20 International, the only one which will be held at Lahore. It's a pity SS1, really. I would like to have sent it to be 3, but anyway. I think Ben Mcdermott will open today. He may well play, but then the Australian side, and I'm pretty sure we've seen a predictor of that side already. I mean, the players that they're saying look out for: Mohammad Rizwan, Musbah Azam, Shadab Khan is expected to play, and Mohammad Wazim, who we'll see what he's playing. But the Australians have got Aaron Finch, of course. Mitchell Marsh is going to come back. Is Mitchell Marsh ready? Well, I think he is ready. Adam Zampa, clearly. Kane Richardson, maybe. There's a few selection choices there. This is the preview. And the previews are very interesting on this. As Australia look for a way to stop Bubba Azam in touring T20 International. They're trying to find a way to stop him. Good luck, guys. The visitors will feel a very different side when the team's last match. While Pakistan may be able to welcome back Shadab Khan, which will be interesting. So they gave some predictive 11s. Pakistan's possible 11. I think Jack Delgado says, I think Ravid Jadeja is unable to perform because of Dhoni. Should Dhoni hang his head in his boots? No, I think that's a bit, there's a transition going on there. No, that's right. Don't underestimate Josh English. He's great. He certainly is, I'm not sure. Against Sri Lanka, so English is the real deal. He could well be a test keeper too. Okay, so Pakistan, likely side, and I do say likely, not the side. We'll have Rizwan and Azam batting as openers. What an incredible opening partnership that is. What an incredible opening partnership that is. Fakhar Zaman, maybe then 3. 4 is Asif Ali. They're likely to have him there. Iftikhar Ahmed at 5, Haider Ali into the side at 6, Kushtil Shah, who looked fantastic in the ODI, at 7, Shadab Khan 8, Mohammed Wazim is the one that I'm not sure about, 9, 10 Shaheen Shah Afridi, absolutely, and of course Harris Ralph, who was phenomenal in the ODI, so that's a pretty good side from Pakistan. That is the side. The Australian side, they're saying Finch will open, which is captain, he'll open, yes. Partnered by Travis Head, now that's, sorry, I'm not a fan of Travis Head, you know that. Then Mcdermott at 3, 4, Josh English, as opposed to Alex Carey, or Josh English could open as well. Stoinis would come in next. They're saying Cam Green's going to get a Guernsey because Mitch Marsh is not here, which it looks like he's not. Then it will be Green coming in to replace him. Sean Abbott, yep. Ashton Agar would have to be at the expense of Scrapson, you'd have to think. Nathan Ellison's proven his worth, Zampa and Berendorf. I would say Pakistan's the strongest side out of those two for sure. RL Tiger YT, will Rizwan take over Baba's position as number 1 T20 player? Let's hope he does well. He deserves it. What are your thoughts on the quadrilateral? This is a great question. I like this question. What are my thoughts on the quadrilateral series that PCB have proposed to the ICC? I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's Australia, Pakistan, Pakistan, India, and England. Well, they're supposedly the top 4 teams, so why not? And it's not meant to try and supersede the IPL or even the PSL. It's just a fair question. I think it's great. It'd be great. I think India versus Pakistan, definitely great. Australia versus England, no law. If Finch goes for Dhaka again today, so Finch needs arrested. I don't think it's going to happen. And Anshu Rahela, he's done so well, you just can't consider him being dropped that easily. No, I don't necessarily agree with you there. A bit like the way they pounce on Kohli with Finch. Finch has just won a World Cup. Let's not forget that. He has won a World Cup, guys. You cannot disparage him. He's just won a World Cup. And we'll lead his World Cup. He'll lead his side of the next World Cup. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that at all. He'll definitely be there for that. So no, I don't think that's going to be the case. I respect what you say, Hemant Sharel. You're a good commentator as far as your thoughts are. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen at this point. Baba Azam has 872 points in ICC rankings after 2 back-to-back centuries. Can Baba break all-time highest ICC points record of areas of 95? No. He's going to go close, but you wouldn't think so. So, yeah. He is a phenomenal player. Let's just try and see the records. I wouldn't mind having a little look at the records of we'll go to squads. We'll hit Baba Azam's name. Now, he's at the top of his age group. He's 27 and let's say a bit over half. He's actually just over half. It's not a half, actually. October 15th, 94 he was born, so he'll be effectively 28 in October during the World Cup. So he's actually related to Adnan Akmal, Kamal Akmal, Umar Akmal, his cousins. There you go. He's played 40 tests. He scored 2,851 runs at a batting average of 45.98, which is not 50, yes, but it's still very kind of 6 centuries. Perhaps he could have scored more, but that's still an excellent effort. His ODI record, he's only played 86 matches. He scored 4,261 already. He scored 16 centuries in those 86 matches with 18 50s. And his batting average there is 59.18. So he is Kohli-esque, Smith-esque. He's right up there as a leading ODI player. There's no doubt about that. His T20 record, he's played 73 tests. This is Baba Azam, by the way. 2,620 runs, average of 45.17. Only the 1 century. and batting average is like 45.717. His test record at this moment is edging on 46 runs. If he gets it over 50, well over 50, he's going to press claims on a lot of things. Yeah, so he has scored in 40 tests, 28.51, with a notable top score there, 196. When did that happen? Of course, it was the second test against Australia in Karachi, which basically staved off a loss there and allowed them to have a draw, which was a magnificent result, really. Why doesn't big teams play with Nepal, Netherlands, and Namibia? Well, New Zealand's just played Netherlands, haven't they? In New Zealand, and that's Ross Taylor's last match, so that's happening. Nepal, I think, is one team that certainly needs more of a go. Namibia's getting there. What can we consider weakness in batting technique of Papa? Well, not much. His technique's flawless, if you ask me. Maybe sometimes a bit of patience, but he even has that going for him. So really, I can't. Perhaps going on and scoring more centuries is a weakness in Test cricket. He's got 6, which is still good. Probably should be close to 10. And then the batting average, if he's 45.98, batting average well over 50 with 10 centuries. So maybe more hundreds in his repertoire. He's not a big 4 or 6 scorer either. He's a very good accumulator of runs, but he plays some absolutely magnificent shots, especially the drive. He has a very level-headed attitude, very disciplined, therefore patient. Yes, that's probably a fair call on Baba's done. So the Rajasthan Royals we talked about a bit. On paper, just going back to the game for a moment, on paper, Rajasthan Royals look pretty bloody strong. They haven't looked strong for a few years, actually. But they've got Butler up the front there with Padikkal and Jaswal and Sampson. It's a pretty strong four. Shimron Hetmar, I'd argue, is a go-to player as well. Parag's not bad. They've got spinners like Ashwin. Then a bowling lineup that has really some of the leading bowlers of both India, New Zealand in there, with Navdeep Singh, who's played for India. Trent Boult, obviously New Zealand legend. Prasidi Krishna, not quite cracked Test cricket yet, but he certainly is up there. And Yuzvendra Chahal's also played a fair bit of Test cricket and Indian level cricket. So yes, pretty good side. The RCB side are without, of course, Glenn Maxwell, which is a loss. Without Hazelwood and Berendorf. Berendorf playing today's match, of course, against Pakistan, we would think. So Du Plessis, Rawat, Kohli clearly up there. Dinesh Karthik, good selection there from as well. He a big benefit. Sherfane Rutherford as the keeper has been magnificent. So Shabaz Ahmed, Rindu Harazaranga, they've got a good bowler there. Harshad Patel's pretty good. David Willey, I'm not a big favour of him, but well, he's in the side. I mean, probably a place for Hazelwood. Mohammad Siraj, great bowler, and Akash Deep. Yeah, he's certainly been a form. So yeah, it's a pretty good side RCB, but they're not at full strength yet. And he would argue that Rajasthan Royals might get over the line at this very early stage of the competition. That's what makes it a little bit, I wouldn't say boring, but disinterested, because not a lot of the sides are really showing their muscle yet. Namely, Mumbai Indians and CSK are both losses, but we know Mumbai Indians can lose up to 4 or 5 matches before they start winning and then still win the comp, so it's too early. Can Australia win the 2023 World Cup? Of course they can. How will Australians miss Glenn Maxwell? Well, both Rajasthan RCB are missing Glenn Maxwell tonight and Australia, but he got married, so give him some credit. Where are New Zealand young talent? Well, New Zealand's got current talent. They got young talent. Don't worry, they're going to produce some players. I'm not worried about that at all. At all. Okay, so the Australia-Pakistan match starts in an hour and some 34 minutes. Still got a fair way to go, guys. But I started early because, it's not really early, it's very late, in my opinion, but it's always good to have a bit of a start and a bit of a discussion going. You'll see a lot of posts today about the final team training with Josh Inglis and Matthew Renshaw's another one. Matt Renshaw, Queenslander, once an originally Australian opening batsman of some quality, has pushed his way back into the short format rather than the test format. We'll see how he may be selected. Mushal speaks, my friend, how are you? Good on you. You're back. Nice to see you here. So I put a video there with Sakleen Mushtaq. It was an Urdu, but it was a good, apparently a very good interview. A bit of history for me when I was in India back in 2015. I've been there after that. I've been there in 16 as well, and I've been there in 18, I think, as well. But Pakistan's a place I haven't spent time, so I'm going to really make a point of saying I couldn't do it this time. My mother was ill, so I couldn't go. Andrew McDonald also spoke. I've got an interview, and then, of course, let's just take a moment to remember how well Australia played in the Women's World Cup. Alyssa Healy's 170 was just sublime. Well supported by 60s from both Rachel Haynes, I think, got a 60 odd. I don't think Meg Lang got a 60 odd. They batted extra. I think she did actually. She just confirmed that they monumental, saying they are one of the best ever women's sides, and they really were worth watching. Very interesting to watch. Anka Naik, hi, how are you? Inshallah, Pakistan will win. I think so. Is Bubba a good captain? Your honest opinion, please. Okay, of course he is. Perhaps sometimes a little bit reserved, which is not a bad. It's more of a Williamson trait rather than a Kohli trait. Sometimes can be more aggressive. That's probably the only negative, but otherwise he's definitely a good captain. Great leader by his batting, to say the very least. I feel RR is very balanced side and take on our point of view. Well, there's no doubt about it that Edison Rolls are with Josh Butler in there. He's very significant. With Ashwin there as well. Chahal on there, they got a pretty good side. Bolton wasn't there. There were a bunch of players which weren't there last season. They've chosen well. They're going to do okay. We haven't seen the best yet of RCB or Mumbai Indians or CSK for that matter. We'll wait and see when they start turning up. In the future, I want to go to England and Australia. Do you? Well, then do it. Moeen Ali or Josh Butler could be appointed as white ball captain of England cricket team as Al Morgan poor show with the bat continues. He might drop himself. Well, he probably needs to think about that. But he's a very good captain, they say. Like Josh Butler could easily be captain more than Moeen Ali. Moeen Ali's got ability too, don't worry. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in that regard. I'm pretty sure that England are in a bit of a disastrous state at the moment, especially when it comes to the test format, and their other formats generally are better. Oh my God, there's so many things under embargo. It's just ridiculous. Every team seems to. This is for the so-called what was it called? The 100. I don't really like to talk about the 100s. I mean, it's way too early. The 100s. People are. It is interesting to see. Well, I'm going to let some of you know that my ex-wife, I mean, I was married for some 14, 15 years to a lovely Sri Lankan lady named Saroja. You may have seen pictures on my community page, and she's in her 50s. And unfortunately, she has suffered a pretty serious stroke and seizures and lost movement on her left side of the body, including a leg and her arm, and is actually bedridden at the moment, and it's quite sad. So I'm a little bit disappointed and very sad about that. Yeah, it's not much fun with it. My mother, who's 90, who's in the other room here, who's also not well. Got a bit of a sad story around that, but we'll kick on. Aaron Hardy makes debut for Australia in Sri Lankan series. Okay, can he? I don't know whether Australia need to go that far just yet. They've got a pretty good squad as it is. I'm hoping that they get Jason Sanger in there. But Norman, any update on Pat Cummings joining KKR squad? Well, didn't I post something about that? I did post about let me have a look here. I did post about some players coming back from the Australian squad, namely Hazelwood was one that I know that's due back. Let me have a look. Let's confirm that the update's there. So Glenn Maxwell will be available from April 9th against Mumbai Indians for the RCB, which is only what? April 9th is what? You know, it's only a week of, was it April 5th? 4 days away. So he'll be ready for Saturday. And Josh Hazelwood will be available from the April 12th against the CSK team. So next Tuesday. So roughly a week away is Josh English, and Glenn Maxwell's 4 days away. No mention of Pat Cummins, but he wouldn't be far behind that, you would think. There's no rush. It's pretty early in the comp. Why Aussie women win every World Cup? Can you tell me what's the secret ingredient? RL Tiger White, the secret is hard bloody work. A lot of preparation, a very professional attitude, right down to the grassroots of cricket. And as you may or may not know, I'm heavily involved with the women's cricket scene in Australia, but also international players coming to Australia. A number of Australian players play in the domestic option. They play very hard cricket every single week, not just simply for their country against other sides. They play hard, competitive cricket at the highest level in their domestic competitions here, week in, week out. That's a great amphitheatre of play, especially in Sydney, Melbourne to a lesser extent, but Sydney's right up there. It's the best domestic comp in the world for women's cricket. Oh my God. All the international women players want to come here now because they realise this is the hunting ground for experience. And I bring them out, like Shapali Redukoti, Lakshya De Silva from Sri Lanka, Rebecca Van Dort and Puni Hunsaker. They're both playing in Victoria now. Jana Chaushmona from Bangladesh, Jane Aris Alum's hopefully coming out with Latin Mondol later this year. Both play for Bangladesh this year. Ramana Ahmed's been out before, a captain of Bangladesh. Winifred Dorasayam, well, she played more in Adelaide, but still had shown experience. Who else is there? Shannon Mcdermott plays in the WBBL, and so does Marizanne Cap. They've all been hardened. So not only is the WBBL with the Thunder and Sixers and teams like that, but also the domestic competition is extremely hard fought and professional week in, week out. So players become very capable in that experience, and it could happen to any team. But if you're the best Sri Lankan player or the best Pakistani player, and you're like King Kong in your own country, you aren't really being tested because your competition is very low quality, and therefore and also the training standards and the professionalism. It's the problem. There's a lot of infighting in the Sri Lankan women's camp, unfortunately. They have a captain there who basically elbows everybody else out of the way. Even though she's a good player, she's more detrimental than good for that team, and they need to sort that out. They have a good coach there, Hashan Tilakaratne. They have a previous coach who was an absolutely woeful coach, very bitter, very nasty, very much a favourite of players, and I believe extremely corrupt. And he's been sacked, and understandably why. But Hashan Tilakaratne, who actually was a significant player in the Sri Lankan team in '96 in the World Cup, very good batter, could keep as well, great all-round talent. And his wife Apasari have done a great job with women's cricket, and that's a positive move for them. But they've got to get rid of that captain, maybe allow the captain to play, but do not let them captain, if that's possible, because they are very dominant in that team. That's just simply not good. You see, a player like Meg Lanning, who's the captain of Australia, certainly can score bloody big centuries. But in the final, she didn't even put herself into bat. That shows what sort of person she is. And you need to be professional, not be bitchy and backbiting and conniving and corrupt. Doesn't work, I'm afraid. And I'm being very honest, the Sri Lankan women's team are a great team. They didn't make the bloody World Cup this year. Why? Because they got a horribly dominating captain who's basically ruined their cricket substantially. No matter how many runs she gets with an occasional 150, which is magnificent. It is magnificent, but one-off performances of 20 ducks and big backbiting and bickering and not selection of the right players and only her favourites being picked in the team and substandard players, that is. She bowls all the time. She's a terrible bowler. I could go on forever. Professionalism and hard work is the key to showing success at every sport. But women's cricketers particularly, they work their butt off. Faith Fury. Rizwan needs 33 runs to take over Bubba is the continuing. I don't think Bubba Azam and Rizwan are aware of these things, nor would they care. they just want to play well for their country, and they're both great guys, and they get along really well. So does Imam Al-Hakban. Scored 4 centuries, 2 on Test and 2 on ODIs. Oh my God. Worthy of playing ODI, T20 cricket as well, but may not be selected. Travis Head is like Adam Gilchrist. I think Australia should invest in the future. Himanshu Rahula, I don't agree at all. Travis Head is too hit and miss for me. Gaming with Purinjay, how are you? How's things going? So we've got the World Challengers Bangalore game. What's going on there? They started, well, they've actually started, I should say. And of course, RCB chose to bowl. That means Rajasthan Royals have been thrown at the bat. And with Ishavi, Jaswal, and Josh Butler there, Josh Butler's played 301 matches, 7.472 runs, batting average 32 is sensational, let's be honest. Jaswal's played 26 matches and not quite there yet. Only a batting average of 18, which is pretty ordinary, actually. David Willey is bowling. He's played a lot of games. I'm sorry, he has played a lot of games. Mohammad Siraj, not as many. David Willey is probably a good sound player, but he got Hazelwood and Beater not coming in this side. So, Satvik Bakari, how are you? Many people are telling that if AJ Ty would have played in the earlier things, would have been different. Do you agree? No. He's a good bowler, yes. He's not a match winner all the time. He bowls very steadily, yes. But no. RL Tiger, when does big teams play with Nepal? Well, I said New Zealand's playing Netherlands right now. Australia hasn't played in there, but it'll happen, don't worry. Nor what is your thoughts on England's cricket going down in recent? It starts with the coaching, starts with the management, the CEO, the lack of a selector, all those issues. The domestic, I've also been very much interested in the 100, which to me is, the lollipop. I'm not a fan of the 100, to be honest. It's not. They've concentrated. They're just trying to get. It's all about money, unfortunately, and it hasn't worked. And they've neglected Test cricket. And that's why. Now they're in a mess. And they've played too much emphasis on Joe Root, and he can't win everything. And some of the selections leave a lot to be desired. They've got some great players that are not on the side. Why Jaswal out by Willie? He was bowled by Willie for 4. It's unfortunate. Very early dismissal in the game there. And a bit of a blow there for Rajasthan Royals. Not that they're going very well, especially with Butler. All right, so we've still got a fair bit of time before the match starts. It still starts a lot later than I would have liked it to. That's just timing in India, not India, in Pakistan, being somewhere 5 hours behind now, to Australia that is. So Jaswal was playing for the swing once again, and Willie sneaks this one through his defence to rattle the stumps. There you go, that's unfortunate. The Butler's still there. He's been joined by who's run by Padikar. There's a lot of these players weren't playing for Rajasthan Royals last year, were they? What do you think about the teams for the Snakes? What are your teams showing winning T20 today? They're good as any, but you would think Pakistan are in the ascendancy role, even though Australia is the World Cup winning team at the moment. As I said, we went through this a bit earlier, the Australian side. We'll do it again if you like. Let's have a look. They're given in the preview some likely sides. I rather agree at this point. The Australian team, they're saying Head's going to open with Finch only because we haven't got Mitch Marsh floating around, so therefore Mcdermott can't go up to opener. But Travis has stuck his nose into the team, and Mcdermott 3 for Josh Inglis. He's the inclusion to the big one in place of Alex Carey and Marcus Doinis. Green's kept his position over Mitch Marsh, who's not here. Sean Everett's there because, interesting, he's there still. Ashton Agar should come in place of Swepson. Obviously, Zampa will continue to be Ellis and Berenov getting the nod because we haven't got Hazel, we haven't got Stark, we haven't got Cummins there. So yeah, a few bit missing. So that's the Australian team. By no means their strongest team. Thanks for providing the presses of these cricketers. I'll listen to them while I'm eating. There you go. Who was that who said that? Shakir Hassan. Good. Uncle Nick, why Ashley has an important role in England's cricket when he himself was not credible cricket. Ashley Giles, he was a very good cricketer, by the way, but you know, he's an astute person, but now he's not there anymore anyway. Now from tomorrow, will you become live for fan people? Zafar Bakari, yes, there will be a time because we have got the Australia-Pakistan series, and I'm obviously giving that preference at the moment, but I can't do everything. The IPL will certainly get against it. The IPL is so long. Extremely long. We've got plenty of time, guys. None of the matches have really counted so far. There's a lot of jostling going on. A lot of teams have not got their full strength side. A lot of teams have got a bit of sorting out to do. The ones that we know are successful, Mumbai Indians, CSK, even RCB, they're yet to really flex their muscle. So yeah, I don't know, we're missing out on too much. Talk about Glenn McGrath, Mayor Chan. Well, Glenn McGrath was a fantastic player in all formats. A good foil for the legend Shane Warne, for sure. Great player. And players have emulated themselves. Look, the way that Hazelwood bowls is definitely out of the McGrath mould. What do you think Pakistan go with? Hassan Ali again, or give a chance to Wasim or Dani? Well, the Pakistan team, again, this is possible side. Certainly will have Rizwan and Azam opening Fakhar Zaman, Asad Ali. It's if to go, I mean, seem to be favoured. Pushtul Shah, Haider Ali, Shabab Khan. Now, you've mentioned Hassan Ali. Hassan Ali's out of form. He may not be in the side. And then you've got some in the bowling side. We've got Mohammad Wasim seems to be in favour. He didn't play too badly, but then you can't get better than Shane Sharafri and Harris Ralph. My God. Definitely, they're going to favour Hassan Ali at this point in time. Norman, what is the current time in Sydney? It is currently 12:14 a.m. And the so-called T20 starts at 1:30 a.m., which is bloody late. Anyway, 6 by Padikkal. There you go. Padikkal's a very good bat. We know that. And a very sore eye, guys. I think something's in the air here. But see, Rajasthan rolled 140. But see, Rajasthan rolls are not they're probably close to full strength, but RCB certainly isn't. They haven't got Glenn Maxwell, they haven't got Hazelwood, they haven't got Berendorf, they haven't got a few players there, and they haven't settled on solid line. Something in the air, guys. Love from India. Thank you, Mayo John. That's nice for you to provide that. This match between Rajasthan Royals and RCB is significant for Rajasthan Royals more than RCB. RCB will come in with a wet start, ain't right, but Rajasthan Royals need to maintain this momentum. They ever would lose Josh Butler again. He's significant to them, extremely significant. As we know, he's one of their leading players. He really showed his wares with a magnificent century in the previous match that he had. Didn't he what? Didn't he what? Let's have a look here. What a preview there. Is this one? It's only 228. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 3, 6. Okay, it's getting there, guys. It's getting there. We haven't quite reached the crash. We'll get the audience coming. A lot of people watching the IPL at the moment, of course, with RCB versus Rajasthan Royals. No, any update on Shadab Khan? Well, they're saying that they are quoted as saying that he's likely to be playing. That's the word I'm getting. Very strong likelihood that he will play. That's what I'm hearing. So that's an early commentary, but I'd say there's a good chance that will be the case. Yeah. So shut up. Khan is a worthy T20 player. And I like Australia with Josh English and Ashton Agar both, and they need to force their way back into it. They will. Great fury. The update on Mojan Sheikh, who's a guest commentator of mine usually, he come down with COVID-19 only today. So he's messaged me and apologised severely for not being here, but he's not 100%. He's rather taken by COVID, even though most of the world has already had it. Mojan's got it there. Sunny Queensland have pretty much been immune to COVID, but now that it's taken on Queensland as well quite strongly. So yeah, it's a bit of a 3, 6, 7, 8. It's a bit of a sad one though for you. But he will be back with vengeance again very shortly. Don't worry. He does make his apologies there. He's very worthy commentator, especially with the Pakistan experience. He's in the constant era of the Quadras and the Harris Ralphs from Pakistan. He's very good friends with both teams, having been in all the Sixers and Thunder here in Australia, and as a Queensland makeup, New South Wales makeup, Australian makeup, the Pakistan makeup. He was under 19 coach of Pakistan back in the day, and also was there for the first IPL leg of Shane Warne as captain and coach of the Rajasthan Royals, who are playing tonight. So a lot of credibility in the old Mojan Sheikh, but he's, as I said, he's got COVID-19, so he'll be out of action for a week or so. Hopefully no longer. Okay, we're getting there. So let's have a look at this. So I currently have 28,937 subscribers. 28,937. I would like to see 30 some stage of the IPL, please, guys. Please help by sharing, view, like, and share the posts. Get your friends and family and colleagues and acquaintances and cricket lovers to subscribe. It costs nothing to subscribe, but you get the value of knowing when the sessions are on. We can keep abreast of what's going on, and that's what I love to do. As you know, I love to interact with people. I love to talk about cricket, and we have a great platform here to do so. Now, a lot of people are waiting for it. So there's a bit of time. It's still well over an hour before this particular match starts. So we've got a bit of time, guys. A bit of time to go. We can talk about the IPL more as it's currently on. Hi, K Sports Ultra. How are you? Norman, okay. Norman, any update on PCB proposed triangular series that includes, was actually quadrilateral. It's quad, it's 4, with England, Australia, Pakistan, and India, as well as 4. Hi, sir. Any chance of Josh English playing tonight? I think he's definitely playing. Abu Bakr, he's definitely playing today. All right, Josh English is back. It'd be very exciting to watch him play, and yeah, I think he should play at the expense of Travis Head, but that's my thoughts. But he's there because of Alex Carey. You could actually argue that you could leave Alex Carey and let Josh English be a pure kick batter. That would be my thoughts on the matter. But yeah, that probably won't be taken up as the way to do that, which is unfortunate. So yeah, Josh English I think is almost a certainty. So is Ashton Agar. And as I said earlier, we went through this side. We'll do that on a number of occasions, but recent form, both Pakistan have won the last 5 T20 matches. Australia have lost 1 and won the last 4. So similar records, I guess. Shahid Khan may be available after injury kept him out of the ODI series. Shahnawaz Tahani and Usman Khadir could also be considered. Usman Khadir would be fantastic to have in the squad. Love to see him there. Rizwan Azam, Fakhar Zaman, Asif Ali seems to be the favourite 4, with Iftikhar Ahmed, Haider Ali, and Kushal Shah coming in at 5, 6, and 7. Shadab Khan at 8. Shaheen and Harris Ralph as 10, 11. But number 9 is I've got a question on. Mohammed Wasim, has he done enough to keep himself in there? We'll wait and see. Yeah, Josh Inglis, Ashton Agar are bound to be in there. But Cameron Green and LaHORE could make their ODIs T20 debuts, and Travis Head to play his first match in the form since 2018. I think Travis Head's been given a bit of a blessed run. He played well in the first two ODIs, but is he now a T20 player? They did the same with Matthew Wade, and it didn't. Well, Matthew Wade did work at the World Cup, and he actually won the World Cup for Australia with his batting. But yeah, we'll see. So where is Matthew Wade then? Why isn't he playing in this particular match? Interesting one. He's in fact out of character. He's playing at the moment in the IPL, isn't he? Yeah. Please give me the information about Australian squad for this match. As I just said, I just gave you the squad and the likelihood to play. That's what they're expecting it to be. The squad I've just given you. What is World Cup for Stark in 2015? It was a great World Cup for Stark in 2015. His wife was there. She celebrated with him. Now, his wife, Alyssa Healy, played out of skin at 170 as an opening batter for Australia in the Women's World Cup final. And who was there? Mitchell Starc was there to support her. Norman CSK looked very unlikely that they will qualify in the top four. Your take on this? Uncle Mike, it's too early. Way too early. Way too early. I mean, we know that Mumbai Indians lost 4 or 5 in a row and they still won the comps. So now it's way too early, especially with 10 teams. It's way too early. Lucknow and Gujarat are doing pretty well. They're return. The team that we know are not going to make it, although it's early, is Sunrisers Hyderabad. They look awful and not much going right for them at all. Finch, Warner, Wade likely retire the 2023 World Cup. Who can take their place? Well, it's pretty obvious that Josh Inglis is certainly one player that's taking their place. I believe Felmy Jason Sang is one of them. Matt Renshaw will be back in the play as well. There's a few. And then, of course, although I don't agree with it, Travis Head's floating around. Yeah, there's a few. Just over an hour, guys, before this match starts. Just over half an hour, we'll have the toss. Well, of course, at the moment, live action is happening with the IPL, albeit not as exciting as it normally is at this stage, but it is early. Any update on Mitchell Marsh joining the IPL? He's going to join at some stage, yes, but he's out of the ODIs, as we know, and he was out of this T20. So Mitch Marsh should be back with the IPL. We just don't know when, but he looks like he'll be okay sooner rather than later. But obviously, we've got Hazel returning, Maxwell returning in the next few days. Barrendorf, well, he's playing in the game against Pakistan, so he'll be there after that. Pat Cummins can't be very far away. Yeah, there's a few coming back, which will strengthen the IPL considerably, because your big guns, you want to see Cummins play, you want to see, even Warner play, you want to see these sort of players play, because they're box office, aren't they? Well, box office so far has been Andre Russell. He's been pretty much fantastic. So Rogers and Rolls are now on 1 for 28 after they're into the 5th over. So they're going steadily. By no means flash, but they're going steadily. Mitch Marsh is available for selection against KKR match confirmed by Ponting. Okay, that's not far away. And I think Warner's back into the fray as well. Yeah, so the IPL, there we are. And I did hear that on myself. I'd forgotten that. Ready for the KKR match, Delhi Capitals versus KKR. And of course, confirmed by Ponting, who's the coach, as we know. So Australia are looking for a way to stop Babar Azam in the touring of the T20 International. Good luck, John. With him and Rizwan opening, that is a dynamite opening pair. And of course, some heavy action on those two. It's going to be quite an exciting opening pair. My God. They're probably, you would argue that they're probably one of the leading batting pairs at the moment in the world on their day. Absolutely. Look here. It's going through the 2nd, 4th, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're picking up, guys. why are Indian players not playing Big Bash League? It's a great question. They're getting paid too much money to play the IPL. They're playing other commitments during that period, such as Test and one-day cricket elsewhere, and leading into the IPL is the time they would be playing for the Big Bash. So it's all about the managing the contracts that they have with India. If they're getting paid, a couple of million to play for the IPL, why would you begrudge that and get a couple of 100,000 playing for Australia, or playing in Australia? Although it's a great competition, I understand why they don't play. Same with the PSL. But look, if those that are perennial short form players, they'll certainly be playing it more and more. Same goes with PSL and IPL. We should see Pakistanis play the IPL and India's play the PSL, but it's just not always geared, unfortunately. South Africa seems to be the one that dominates in that field a lot more and more. So, yeah, be interesting to see whether that'll continue to happen. And yeah, it's a pity, but there are too many competitions with the CPL, the IPL, the PSL, the BBL. It's just staggeringly large amount of cricket, as well as the commitments to play for your country at Test, ODI, or T20 level, and in the World Cups, and then now quadrilateral tournaments like the one they're proposing from Ramiz Raja, the head of Pakistan cricket, who's doing a wonderful job, by the way. Brought Australia back to Test cricket there, and it's magnificent. They're well received. The hospitality was great. It was all good. Ramiz Raja is proposing a quadrilateral series between India, Pakistan, Australia. India, Pakistan, Australia, and England, which would be huge. Very, very audacious attempt, but great. Why India's not okay? Who will win today? Himanshu Rahul is talking. In terms of the IPL match, it's going to run some roles, I think. In terms of the T20, even though Australia are the T20 international world champions, ICC world champions in the T20 format, as of last year when they had Aaron Finch and Wade and the like, you would think that Pakistan on home soil, with the momentum of their ODI series and the players they've got currently in form, bowling wise especially, they're going to win this match against Australia. I would say so. I know you guys can tell me if you differ to that, but that's what I would say will be the case indeed. No fear. Australia are commendable, but they're throwing nowhere near the top strength side. Way below. The bowling attacks weakened. Batting wise, they're okay, but not the best. They've got Maxwell in there. They've got Warner. They haven't got Smith would probably be in there as well, and Mitch Marsh, and the bowling strength. They've got Agar back now. Josh Inglis is there back now, but they've got their down troops: Hazelwood, Stark, Cummins. Even Nathan Lyons would be looking at selection at some stage. Do you think in the near future India and Pakistan will play with each other? Absolutely. It's a huge winner, and why not? Love from Pakistan. Dave, how are you? Abdul Rahman, your views on today's pitch. It's Lahore, okay? It's the same Gaddafi Stadium set of pitches that have had Test cricket and now a series of ODIs and a very short after T20. It'll be breaking up a bit more. It won't be quite as bouncy as perhaps it may have been, but it's still going to be a great ground. Great atmosphere. It deserves this match without any shadow of a doubt at all. It's deserving of this level of cricket. Definitely. So that pitch won't be. And it won't matter because if the pitch is not up to scratch, it might be bouncing a bit low and uneven and uncertain because of the wear and tear, but you would argue it's still going to be the same for both teams. So neither team will be disadvantaged by this pitch. Obviously, the team batting second will have an element of dew and the reverse swing and the pitch to contend with. Yes, I think it is better to win the toss and elect to bowl first. I think that is the way to go, and I think we're going to see evidence of that tonight for sure. So that's what I'm saying. So you people that are watching today who are new or relatively new to the channel, please take your time while you're watching now to view, obviously, like and share the post. Hit the subscribe button at Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kostek, Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kostek, and then hit the notification button to get more evidence of these sessions. Please do that if you haven't done it. It would be very pleasing for me to watch the numbers go up. And it is slowly but surely going up. We've got another 1,060 to go before we hit 30,000, which is huge for me. Doesn't cost you anything, but it means a lot to me. So that's my little advertisement there for you guys. I would like to see that happen too. Got some great videos there. I mean that quite sincerely, that we've got a lot of good quality interviews and talent that come on, and it'll only grow. It'll only grow, guys, with your help. Now, why is IPL format too long? Why? Well, you've got 10 teams. That's why. And the previous year, they had to break up into two because of COVID. That felt like a century that it was played. It was really dragged out. And I think the players appreciated it very much at all. And now that we've got two teams, which means several games more. How many more games is it? 48, 58? I can't remember now. There's quite a jump in numbers of teams to be played. We've got 10. And not just the two new ones playing against each other, but the two new ones playing against everybody. So, you're looking at a much longer series, but it's hopefully more condensed because there will be no COVID interruptions. So we'll see more result-driven matches, which is a big thing, very, very big thing. That's what we're going to have to hope. Okay, that's what we want. We want to see and we want to hope for, because people who watch this show really want to see, some good cricket, but not. So at the moment, we don't really care about the results in the IPL. People are like losing 4 or 5 in a row, but they're still in with a chance. Well, that's where it gets serious down the track, not now. No one, why is it? Okay, I'll just talk about that. Oh, it's another good night, guys. We've got some 1,600 plus who have seen the results so far in the first just on an hour. Bit of a slow start, but people are picking up now. It's now 12:34 a.m. in Australia. The game starts at 1:30, so looking at another 56 minutes before the match starts, another 26 minutes before the toss will occur. In the meantime, we've got the IPL well and truly on track, and we've got Rajasthan Royals after 6 into the 7th over. They're 1 for 37. So somewhat slow, a little bit slower there. And why? Chance missed it. Right, Akash Butler. Okay, caught bold chance there. Akash a good bowler, very good bowler. Sorry, guys, might be the occasional yawn because it is 12:34 a.m. in the morning. But I'm as confident as hell we're going to have a great match here. So I'm watching the whole bloody thing for sure. Let's have a look here. What's the story here? My Foxtel shows a boxing match. We don't want to see that. Sky Racing. Many versus Pakistan. There's a bit of preparation there. Golf is there. Here we go. That's the IPL. And looks like we're back at Wankhede again. And projected scores 114. That's pretty low. Jesus. You would expect Rajasthan Royals to get more than 114. They won't win that match. Abdur Rahman waiting for Haider Ali batting. He's a sensation as well. Kushtil looked really good the last match. He finished up very well for Pakistan. And let's not forget, Babar Rizwan opening partnership. They may not need anyone else. They got those two coming in. That could be the end story. With only 20 overs. Oops, looks like Josh Butler's just hit a 6. Josh Butler's 19 on that. Padikal's already 20 off 18. He's been going for it too, but Josh Butler, with the greatest of ease, has just plonked it over mid-off there for a massive 6. Catch drop by Willie Willie off, Butler, second drop with this. Well, that's one's to be taken. We all know that. You're not going to win too many tournaments if you drop catches. It's without a doubt. So Butler and Paddock, two bloody good players, are in at once there. Certainly a big partnership there, you would expect. Very important one. String out coming up. Zindabad. We look at that there. Yeah, we certainly have had a big hour here, guys. We're going to have still another full hour before we go. Yeah, it's just, it's 53 minutes to the start of the Australian-Pakistan match. Obviously, the IPL is well and truly in train with Rajasthan Royals playing against RCB, and you still favour RCB. Sorry, Rajasthan Royals at the moment with Josh Butler firing. Yes. Catch drop. We just talked about the catch being dropped there. So, yeah, it's a pretty impressive day here for cricket. We've had about 2,000 viewers in the last hour. But, today's match is a crescendo of the series between Australia and Pakistan. 3 hard-fought tests, which Australia did come out on top of, but only just. And then the ODIs, Pakistan came on top there, but not only just. They absolutely thumped Australia and only needed 1 wicket to fall for them to pass the 214 odd runs. Quite impressive. What was the ideal score about batting first at Lahore? Well, it's got to be pretty big for it's a T20 format. I mean, I'm going to say 200. That's probably a bit too big. At least 180, I reckon. Himanshu Rahela, after 2015, why Sri Lanka is gone. It's a corruption in the administration. Their provincial tournaments not being as strong as they should be. The grassroots of cricket, where Australia is extremely aware of the importance of this, is absolutely mind-blowingly good. And we get all the international players to play our domestic season, not only the Women's Big Bash, just to play the domestic season. And I'm squarely in the middle of them. I'm one of the people that bring people out, and I'm very proud of that. It's great to see these girls get very exposed and they're playing very well for their countries. Play very, very, very well for their countries. So that's what you want. It's what you want. You want people to have exposure to the international scene and play really well and do all the things which make them feel proud. And my successor, Nilakshi De Silva, played for Sri Lanka because of the performances he showed in the batting with, of course, of all people. Elsa Healy got 166 playing against, I think it was Northern District for Sydney, and she just clobbered them. And competing at that level, batting in tandem with Elsa Healy, getting runs in tandem with Elsa Healy. No wonder she ended up playing for Sri Lanka very shortly after. When there's a toss happening, Australia versus Pakistan, it's still a good 20 minutes away. Himanshu Rahela, a regular on the show, is going to wait another 20 minutes before the toss. And people are realising now they're going away and having a coffee and what have you. Which I respect. I respect that. So we're looking at another just borderline 19 minutes to go, definitely 20. And we'll see a toss and team selections. We'll have plenty to talk about then as well. So, yeah, you love the channel. I appreciate that. It's only another very, very close to 19 minutes away now. But Himanshu Rahela, you love the channel. I'm assuming you've subscribed. I'm pretty sure you've subscribed. Hit the notification button, but share it between you. Become the vocal point to your friends in one of your social media posts, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. Announce what this particular platform does. Get people to watch. Steve Smith will be missed. He's been out of form for so long, I think that they've forgotten how good he can be. But anyway, Aaron Finch versus Shaheen Afridi. Well, Shaheen Afridi's a favourite at the moment. Catch dropped by Siraj off Paddock. There's been a few catches of both Butler and Paddock which have been dropped. That's not a good sign there, and it's pretty poor form by RCB to be losing wickets that readily at this stage of the tournament. Yes. I see Australia practice match. I think French changed his stance. Oh, okay. Because we're more open-ended for sure, because the angle of a Mitchell Starc coming in, the bowlers in general. You've got to get your front pad out of the way. That's his problem. His front pad out of his way, waving his LBW a lot. That's the problem with Finch. And he's aware of it. Oh, he's fully aware of it. It's not like he's new to the scene. He knows exactly what's going on. And it's impressive to have Josh Inglis back for Australia, for sure. Thinking about having a coffee, guys, because we've got some 18 minutes before the toss. It's that little lull period between now and the toss. Obviously, once the toss happens, the team is selected, then we'll have a rampaging and better information coming out there, especially around selections and tosses and then tactics will come into play. You would think the winner of the toss will elect to bowl first and chase, because I think they're more than capable of doing that now. And I have a coffee, guys, so just bear with me a second. So it's intriguing indeed. You'll hear some noise in the background. That's my coffee machine. I'm just going to make coffee because I think I need I've already been on for an hour. I've got already some 20 kind of viewers, but just wait 1 second though. Give me a second, guys. Just keep talking for 20 seconds. In fact, you can hear me talking in the background. Yes, Australia versus Pakistan. What a match. What a match. Very impressive indeed. I really love the Australia Pakistan series, guys. It's been fantastic. Amazing batting from Bummer Azam and Imam Al-Haq. Obviously, some great batting by Quadrilateral Test series. Travis said, I stood up pretty well. Trying to knock him. Although I have been knocking, haven't I? I've been knocking Travis head quite hard indeed. I've been knocking him quite hard. And he's proved me wrong in the first couple of matches. I wonder sometimes whether he actually listens to the broadcasts. Yeah, but he has played well. Travis has played well, but he's too much full on when he comes into the side like he's done for the Test team, and then peters off and gets low scores. And this, the eyes, he went 100 odd, brilliant, 80 odd, not bad, and then first ball duck. And that's what the problem is. He does really well in a massive start, and then falls away. Now, is that good? What do you want? Do you want consistency in your players? I think I'd like to see consistency, to be honest. It's probably the thing that's missing with Travis Head. And even with Matthew Wade, he won the World Cup now. We've got to even credit his batting performance in the World Cup was stupendous, but then he can have a series of outs, and he's actually not even in the team at the moment. And he's in the IPL, but it wouldn't be, he's not, I think he's opening the batting. I think he's playing for Punjab Kings, if I'm not wrong. Confirm that, guys. I'm pretty sure he's playing for Punjab Kings. And good on him. But so they're following the dollar, guys. They're following the dollar. Let's not forget. They're playing IPL because they're following the dollar. And let them go on and coach, and they do whatever they can to be circling around the IPL because it's all about money, as we know. And is that a good thing? Well, it is for the individual players, absolutely, because that's their livelihood, and we've got to respect that. But I don't necessarily think it's good for cricket. I think the money is important, but it shouldn't be the overriding factor that decides everything. Because a lot of fakeness goes on, a lot of prioritising of that over other sports, and I don't know whether that's necessarily other sports, other tournaments, I should say. That's not necessarily what you want, but The IPL is just a magnificent tournament. Let's be honest, it's very successful financially, but it's also a bloody good tournament. The success of the IPL now into its 15th season is not necessarily only about money. It's about structure, organisation, the pride of the jersey. These clubs do get that. They've got 10 now, which is probably too many, but you know, you've got to give credit where credit's due. They run a very well-oiled machine, the old IPL. And the PSL have learnt from it. The CPL, which is also run by the same people, and Caribbean Premier League is also going well. The men's Big Bash, women's Big Bash, certainly are up there. And then now 100, which I'm not a fan of at this stage, but it's there trying its best to try to make its mark. And as we all will always say, it's credit where credit's due. You know, you can't knock them for trying with the 100, but it was delayed a bit by COVID. It came into fruition last season. It's on again this season. The only problem with the 100 is it's taken away from the longer format in England, and England is suffering accordingly. So see Australia, I think Finch can change his stance a little bit. I think you're wrong. Okay, 6 by Butler off Hasaranga. Well, are we shocked by that? I'm certainly not. He's been magnificent for some time now. Butler, magnificent player. Very much, they all thought he was overrated, but he's not. He's just a tremendous player. And as people are also saying, he should be taking Owen Morgan's place as the captain of England in that short format. Well, that's possibly the case, but you know, let's not be too hard on Owen Morgan. He's won World Cups too. Warren's IPL to start from next year. Women's, not Warren's. Women's IPL to start properly then next year. That's right. They're saying that. Women's cricket is picking up, isn't it, guys? We saw the way that they played the Women's World Cup just recently. It got great viewership. Incredible to see Australia dominate so strongly. England put up a pretty good fight. South Africa women's choked yet again, made the semi-final. Looked good all tournament, but didn't win when it counted most. Played very poorly when it counted most. That says it all, I'm afraid, guys. The other team, of course, West Indies, they're up and down like a yo-yo. They got through the semi-finals, which is very fortunate for them. They were lucky they got through, really. Could easily have been India, but India didn't get through. So when Mohammad Hasnain went back in international cricket, he's the guy that had that concussion, didn't he? He had I don't think there's much of a rush to having him back in. It seems like concussions are a big thing in world sport. In the rugby codes, rugby league, union, gridiron, the amount of people with dementia and Alzheimer's and what have you, very young ages, loss of memory has been connected to their brain damage based on their concussions. And cricket, you'd think wouldn't be the same, but unfortunately, because of the batters, Will Pucovski, the Australian young player who could be anything, has had probably 9, 10, 11, maybe 12 severe concussions, has been in hospital on many stages and all sorts of issues. He's back again. But it's his batting technique. Now, when I was batting, I'm using a pair of scissors about. I used to get behind the ball and then I used to move out of the way. But if the ball came this way, I moved. But when they've got helmets, they tend to allow the head to stay there and even turn it and get hit. I never got hit and I never wore a helmet because I used to watch the ball all the way to the delivery and get out of the way or swerve that way. But I watched it all the way until it reached me. Whereas young players now, they just turn their head and they hit the back of the head on the back of the neck, a la Phil Hughes. He was on 63 runs. He wasn't a new batsman with a crease. And his batting technique allowed him to get hit the back of the head. Well, sure, boy, it didn't make any sense why. And I'm not sad that Phil Hughes died, but the bowler, of course, was Sean Abbott, who's playing potentially tonight. He must have a heavy heart, Sean Abbott, because he was responsible for that injury. He bowled the delivery, but it wasn't his fault necessarily. Okay, we'll talk about that already. Please pick 2 favourite bowlers of this match. Pick some. So this question will help me in fantasy league. Okay. Favourite bowlers from both sides or one side? If it's one side, let's have a look at the players for a minute. You would have to think that you'd have to think that if you're looking at the bowling strength of these sides, you'd have to think that what's that looking like? All these things here from Chris. I'm trying to find Ben Oliver. What's Ben Oliver? Oh, it was a very old one, wasn't it? That was a video with husband Cool Hudson. Yeah, the bowlers. Let's quickly go there. I would say Zampa. Zampa will be one. Favourite bowlers is about Zampa definitely would be one. Absolutely, with 30. Is it 48? What is it now? 38 minutes until the start of the match. So 8 minutes before the toss. Do you watch IPL? I said, I mistake. Of course, I'm watching it now. Looks like the RCB should have batted first. Yeah, I think so. So what was the Mojan update there? 1 for 73. Josh Butler, my God, he's in such great form. Okay. Let's have a look at the 2 sides in terms of preview here. Okay. In terms of the lineups, definitely Ashton Agar and Adam Zampa, I would watch out from Australia's perspective. Agar and Zampa. Pakistan, look, Harris Ralph, Shaheen Afridi. There's your 2. Shaheen Afridi and Harris Ralph from the Pakistan side, and from the Australian side, Zampa and Agar would be the standouts for me. Satvik Bakar saying, CSK and MI not looking good this year. Well, we said that about MI previously, and no, it's too early to say that CSK, you would think are going to struggle, but yet again, we said that last year, and they won the whole bloody comp. And even though Dhoni's presence is not as strong as it usually is, he still has his presence. So they may not be even RCB going a bit slower, but they're going to. Let's see the tournament progress a bit further before I make the judgment on those 2 teams. So we've got some 6 minutes before the toss between Australia and Pakistan. We've got live scores home. Well, I understand it was 1 for 73, but only off 10 overs. They haven't exactly, it's not a 200 score line, put it that way. What's the run rate? It's roughly 7.7. It's getting there. Divot Padakal's 37 on 28 with 2 4s and 2 6s, and Butler doesn't want to worry about 4s. He's only hitting 6s. He's hit 2 6s and no 4s. He's 31. Wanindu Hazaranga de Silva had 1 over, and he was 12 was taken off his over, which is not. Agar was playing today. At this stage, he will be, I would say. But you love me to. I thank you. Manu Johns, yesterday's SRH defeat was too bad. Sunrise is hard about. I'd even argue their franchises is in question because they're not faring well. Whether they got the money behind, I'm guessing they have, but their team selections and their auctioneering was terrible. They had Moody, Morley, I think, Kadich, all sitting there. How many people they need to decide this? Agar should be playing today. Yes, Padigalat by Harshal Patel. Yes, he just was. He was caught by Coley for 37, but he did very well. They're 2 for 76 after 10 overs. Double that, you got 152. A bit of salt and sugar. He could be up around 175, 80. Ben Mcdermott's on fire. He's a good player. Played particularly well, even in the 3rd ODI, but unfortunately, Pakistan were just too red hot. The rest of the Australian team, even though Sean Avery got a few runs towards them, looked pretty well. Marley John, SH bought Paran for 10 crores, but he is just not playing for his worth. I don't know. I think give him there's still a lot of tournament left here, guys. Don't prejudge a play on this early stages of the season. There's a lot more time to go. So we've got 4 minutes before we get the Pakistan-Australia toss is happening. Only 4 minutes, guys, to get ready for it. Who'll win the toss? Well, Pakistan have won the last 3 tosses in all the ODIs, didn't they? And chose to bowl on every occasion, and it worked. So the luck favours the brave, and Pakistan probably will win the toss. So we've got some 4 minutes there. Can Babar Azam sign off his tour in style? He has been magnificent. It's true. Centuries in ODI and Test, as has Imam Al Haq. It's a pity Imam Al Haq won't be picked today for the T20 because, for God's sake, yeah, he's unstoppable. He played those ODIs fantastically. Let's have a look here. Got a good friend of mine there, Shanara Gursinger. She's going to call me tomorrow. I'm saying hello to Shanara Gursinger. I'm just telling you, mentioning your name. I'm just going to get her, the viewing here. Who will win the toss? Well, it's only 3 minutes away, guys. Let's have a look here. 3 minutes away from the toss, guys. The viewing here. Who will win the toss? Let's have a look here. Oh my God. God. Some people, make you crazy with what they do. It's just ridiculous. Okay, let's just so I've just sent something to Shanara Gursinger. Can you hear me? Are you there? Just write a message if you're there. We've got 2 minutes before the toss, guys. 2 minutes before the toss. Let's have a look. And Marley John's giving me constant IPL updates with Rajasthan Royals Super 76 after 10, which is sound performance, but not match winning just yet. But they've got Josh Butler still there, so heaven help them. So, okay. Who's winning the toss? You would think, by way of luck, Babar Azam's been lucky so far. He may win the toss, and that will see. I'm pretty sure that he will put Australia into bat and bowl, as he's done in the last 3 ODIs. So let's just see. We're looking only a minute away from the toss. 1 a.m. in the morning here. It's almost 1 a.m. in the morning, guys. I'm feeling very spotty. I've had my coffee now, so I'm feeling quite good. And then the game will rev up. Padikal's out, Coley bot. Yep, knew that. So Shadab is playing today, and this is going to be Pakistan a lot. Shadab's hitting has also improved a lot into PSL. PSL's great. I'll be covering the PSL more next year. I'd love to be there live. That's my ultimate thing. Let's see if I can do that. Can Babar Azam sign off this tour in style? I think he will. Okay, the toss should be in the process of happening. It's now 30 minutes before play. No mention of team selections just yet, but it does look like Josh Inglis and Ash Nagar have returned to the Australian side, and we've got already some commentary about Shadab Khan playing for Pakistan. Harris, Ralph, and Shaheen are definitely the bowlers to lead the way there. Australia will rely heavily on Zampa and probably Agar to bowl their deliveries to keep the run chase down and therefore force wickets. So here we are. The toss should have happened by now, guys. Anyone see a result yet? I haven't seen it yet. It's itchy as hell, man. There'll be some bed bugs coming up. Maynard John says, once the Australia-Pakistan game begins, he'll forget the IPL. That's true. I'm afraid the IPL at the moment is being superseded by the Australia-Pakistan series, and that's understandable because a significant series. And they would have loved to have played 3 T20s, and perhaps the IPL pressure put that to bed. And of course, Sanju Samson's in the crease. He's a great batter. He normally opens. That's what's an interesting selection, not having him open, but keeping him further in the track. Okay, here we have it. Australia have won a toss in the T20 international between Australia and Pakistan, and they've elected to bowl. So that's exactly what Pakistan have done the last 3 matches. But Australia have turned the table, which could be in their favour now. So Australia have, in fact, chosen or have won the toss and have elected to bowl. So they've done exactly what Pakistan done. So I'm sure Australia are rejoicing because of that, because they get an option to chase. Whether that's going to be necessarily enough for them to win toss and elect to bowl first. So that's the difference between the two this time. Australia win the toss, which does change the dynamics of the match. It does put Australia in a better, we would argue, a slightly better position. Unless the Australian team win the toss, well, it's the captain on the toss, but it's finished on 5 today. Mark my word. Australia up to bowl. Australia close to field. Yeah, probably. I'd love to see Aaron Finch fire. Yes, don't forget Australia are the current World Cup T20 champions. Big deal, very big deal. They're going to play a World Cup again in a matter of months' time, in 6 months' time. May, June, July, August, July, October. Yeah, 6 months' time they're on again. So hopefully, but that means Babar Azam and Rizwan will open, and they'll have a lot of fire in their bellies. They're very, very positive mood, as we know. Very, very positive mood. Both teams have won relentlessly in the last 7 matches they played. Pakistan have won the last 5 in a row. Don't know who they play, but they've won each of the 5. And Australia have had a loss, but they've had a number of wins as well. So Pakistan's team just been announced. Rizwan is there as a keeper with Azam to batting, captain and first opener. So we've got Rizwan, Azam 1 and 2, Fakhar Zaman, as we said, Asif Ali, Iftikhar Ahmed, Kushal Shah, Mohammad Wasim is definitely playing. Hassan Ali has got a Guernsey, Shaheen Afridi, and Haris Rauf and Usman Khadir. I'm extremely happy. There are 2 players in this team, Usman Khadir and Haris Rauf, that have both played here in Australia with me. And I know them both extremely well. Haris Rauf and Usman Khadir, I'm extremely happy that they're both in the team. This is a very big moment for me personally, and it's a big moment for Pakistan. Both Haris Rauf and Usman Khadir are both in there, and Hassan Ali's in there as well. So they've certainly got some strength in their bowling line. And it's I think Pakistan are going to win easily. This bowling lineup, Rauf, Shaheen, Usman Khadir, and Hassan Ali, if he's in form, which he is. And Mohammad Wasim has been pretty notable. So they've got 5 very, very strong bowlers there, and probably some other bowlers that can bowl. Some Iftikhar Ahmed can bowl a little bit as well. So they've got a very strong bowling line. I don't know whether their batting lineup is that strong, but their bowling lineup certainly is. So that's a great thing, guys. So I'm very happy with it. Why isn't this taking this on? No, I don't want that. There you go. That's a very strong bowling line. They're putting a lot of faith in their upper order, as in Rizwan and Babar Azam, Fakhar Zaman, Asif Ali, Ahmed with Kushal Dutt. So they didn't actually put in Shadab as expected. But Afridi, Haris Rauf, Usman Khadir. I'm cockahoo about that because those 2 guys, number 10 and 11, both played with me at the SCG 11 only a few years ago when they were, relative nobodies. Usman Khadir's never been nobody because he's the son of Abdul Khadir. And Haris Rauf certainly was out of the wilderness, and he performed very well then. So that's a great sign. What's the Australian side? Why haven't they flagged their side? A bit unusual. The Australian side isn't shown. I should be able to find that out from my. I do have a program there. Let's have a look here. We can see what the Australian side is. Okay, we have it here. Let's have a look. We've got Finch and Travis Head are opening. Josh Inglis is definitely playing. Looks like he's fitting into 3. So they're actually not playing Ben McDermott. Labuschagne's at 4. Stoinis, Green. Mcdermott, sorry, is playing. He's just down the order. Abbott, Dwarhus gets a Guernsey. And Nathan Ellis and Adam Zampa. So they haven't played Ashton Agar. At least I'm not sure they have. No, yeah, so Ben Dwarhus is making his debuting. Cameron Green's debuting. And Labuschagne's debuting. So 3 debutants there. There you go. On the Australian side. So Ashton Agar hasn't got a Berendorf hasn't got a Guernsey. Alex Carey's not there. Matt Renshaw's not there. And Swepson's 12th man. Yeah, so Josh Inglis has definitely come in, and rightfully so. I mean, we've got a series of photos here. We've got the debutants coming on as well. So there we have it. Got some photos there for you guys. I'll be posting them right now. But yeah, it's so the Australian side is a very impressive one, and 3 debutants. Oh, come on, damn things. There we are. Okay, so we'll put in those 3 guys, shall we? Yeah, there we go. Three debutants. It doesn't seem like Cameron Green and Labuschagne could be called debutants, but they are. So it's Labuschagne's a debutant. I just think that they've. Joao Hills is an interesting one because he's a bit of a bolter actually, and Green. So Cameron Green now has played Test cricket, ODI, and T20. Labuschagne, I don't know whether he should have been picked, but then McDermott's and so okay. Finch Head, Josh Inglis, is he going to bat at 3? It looks like he is. Labuschagne 4, Stoinis, Cameron Green. Ben McDermott's gone down to 7. Interesting. If that's where he's going to bat, he can certainly finish. So if Australia bowl well, put Pakistan at 160, they will win. Even Pakistan can really bowl well. This is a really good match. Really, really, really good match. So Samson is out. Caught and bowled by Hasaranga. There we go. That's another bit of a blow. But look, that's a great selection there with the Australian side. They've certainly, they've done well with their selections. Joel Huss is a bit of a bolter, a good player. He plays very well for New South Wales. Yeah, he can't knock that. So, and one of them is Australia's 100th Test T20 cap. So, there's 3 debutants we mentioned, but one of them is a so-called. This is interesting because one of them is, in fact, one of them is the 100th ODI or T20 cap. So that's interesting to see who that actually is out of the 3 because they all got it at once. Someone's got it. So that's there's some good photos there, which is good, which is great. This is very exciting. Usman Khadir, Harris Ralph, 2 of my favourite good mates of mine playing for Pakistan. And the Australian side, it's good to see Dwarhus get at Guernsey. Cameron Grant's almost like he's already been there, but he hasn't. And Labuschagne as well. It kind of doesn't really fit. It's something that you would probably have expected not to be the case. But yeah, so Sean Abbott is getting a hug. I'm not sure whether that's because it's not Sean Abbott's first T20. I don't know what's going on there, but Chilnever's getting a bit of a hug down. I'm not sure why that is. Anyway, or is that for the previous ODI, perhaps? Maybe that's what it's for. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. It's probably was getting the cap previously. Pakistan can certainly really bowl well. Australia bowl well. I think this is a really big match. It's a huge, huge match, guys. Huge, huge, huge match. Very, very. This overshadows the IPL, I'm afraid. Big time. It overshadows the IPL big, big time. And that's not being rude. It's just a fact. It's just the way that this has now been primed up is huge. Okay, so we've got some very distinct changes to the teams. We've got, some big time players coming in. I'm very excited. Even Pakistan are really excited. Beat captain, and they're playing aeroplane. Why are you saying aeroplane? What's this got? I'm losing that aeroplane business, guys. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Debutants galore, that's what I'm saying. There are quite a few debutants playing. Good on. Good on. It's exciting, isn't it? So, best captain, yeah, well, that's it. I think Bob I'm still going to show Australia a few things or two. It's still way, way too early to be saying that Australia's concluded. But there's a positiveness to this whole thing with Harris Ralph and Usman Khadir in there, the strength of the Pakistan lineup, Australia blooding some new players. Cam Green, good selection. Labuschagne, not sure about him in the T20 format, and obviously Douglas has certainly got his options there. So he's an impressive player. Whether he's ready for this level, we'll have to wait and see. We're going to see very shortly, aren't we? When they start playing. No, it's impressive indeed, guys. When you give young guys a go at the top level, you can only be there to applaud that sort of thing, let's be honest. So Stoinis congratulates to Green. It's almost like it's not a big deal to Green anymore. He's Test cricket ODI, 220. Okay, it's just another level. He's such a young guy. He's crazy, crazy stuff. Really, crazy, crazy stuff. You got to be impressed by Cameron Green and his efforts and how far he's come. No one can take that away from him now. He certainly has come a long way. When has Ben Mcdermott going to bat? It's a great question. I'm not sure how they've got Josh English slotted in there at 3. Whether he goes in early, whether they put him down, and they put. You would think that they're going to knock stuff around with the top 3. It'll probably be Aaron Finch, Travis Head, and Mcdermott will probably be the top 3. I think you'll probably find that being the same top order, I would argue. And hence, if that's the case, if they've got Aaron Finch, Travis Head, and Mcdermott 3, and if Labuschagne go into 4, maybe Stoinis 5, or it could be Stoinis 5, and then English 6, 7 Green, Abbott, Giles, Ellis, and Sampa. That would be my pick. I would say that's a fair call on the batting order. Happy 3 Musketeers, I'm going to say. There we are. All right. So Labuschagne is a debutant. That's a pretty big, and as we said, the Pakistan side. So no shut through injury. Nicole Hassan has provoked a reaction from some of us of you, it's fair to say. Yeah. I reckon we'll get the Pakistan team up. See, the Pakistan team with Usman Khadir, wow, he's a huge inclusion. He will trouble the Australian batters. Don't you worry. You don't worry about that. He will definitely cause some a bit of a stir there. Yeah, so there's Mohsin Shah. What's Mohsin Shah? Hassan Ali is out of form. It's a fair call. In Australia, of course, with Josh English back after COVID, which is great to see after the excellent series against Sri Lanka he had in Australia. Ashnaga has been included. It's a pace-heavy attack for Australia, and although Labuschagne in the head can also provide spin, yeah, I think that it does look like they're going for more pace. But then they've got Usman Khadir in there. It's hard to know whether it's necessarily a situation of more pace needed or not, because I think that inclusion of Usman Khadir is a huge one. Let's have a look at those lineups one more time, guys. So talk about Babar Azam. Look, Babar Azam is a magnificent player. He scored centuries at Test level. The 196 was magnificent, and 2 thumping ODI centuries. He's destined to perform well here today at the T20 format. He's one of the top 5 batters in the world. Root probably still is edging him out, but Babar Azam's probably number 2. So Root, Babar Azam. Williamson's injured, so he should still be in that thereabouts group. Smith and Coley are both not playing as well, but they're in the top 5, and I think really Usman Khawaja should be in that top 5 as well. But so yeah, that's my selections. But Babar Azam is second only to Root at the moment. So you got my take there, guys. Get ready to see the top 2 ranked T20 batters in the world open the batting for Pakistan. There you go. That's a pretty big statement. So the 8:30 time slot, which they've used today, is because of the Ramadan period. The fast is broken close to 7 p.m. So given 9.5 hours to 2 hours to reach the stadium, which is not sufficient. It makes sense. That's why it started much, much later than we all expected, guys. So there you go. There's a reason for it, a good reason. That's a very fair reason. So they've got to get another 11 minutes before the game starts. Some great posts there were put up there for this match. Just doing a bit of housekeeping here with my YouTube. But yeah, this is going to be a great match. Absolutely huge match. Very much looking forward to it, guys. Very much looking forward to it. It can be one hell of a match, if you ask me. A lot of good things coming out of this. So with ECB, my God, ECB have rattled off all these different selections. Oh, there's far too many. This is for the 100, and probably not a good time to be deciding. And all teams is cavalcading out, and the list when the subscriptions are there. ECB. I'm a bit overwhelmed by the Marizone Cup. Marizone Cup can gloat about her performance, but her team once again choked in the semi-final. So I've got no time for them. They got to show their wares, and you show your wares by winning the World Cup. I'm afraid they haven't done well yet again. Talk about well, it's good Pakistan lost the toss, so now we can watch his cover drive much earlier. Well, let's hope he bats as well as we know he can. it is. It would have been an advantage if they would have batted second, no doubt about that. So yeah, that's they've lost a slight edge because of that, guys. Let's have a look here. Yeah, so we've got only 8 minutes before the game starts. I'm pretty sure Foxtel are covering it already. We're talking about Bubba, of course. Yes, we are. Of course, we are. So Rajasthan Royals are 3 for 101 in 14.3 overs. So they're relatively slow going, actually. And Butler's got a whopping full toss there. And he's actually been given out. He's just been given an LBW, it looks like. Harshal Patel's just gotten Butler LBW for 36, and obviously going to review that decision. A very important dismissal there for RCB to get him out, I tell you. So Darius, let's have a look there. Oh, it looks like there's bat on that. Yeah, it looks like bat to me. He's changed. Yeah, he's definitely his bat on that. That's an advantage there. So Australia have won the toss and elected to bowl. Well, this is, Ash Patel looks like he's bowling pretty well. How much score is Australia looking to put Pakistan at low total? Realistically, Pakistan are going to want 200. And they'll be happy with 180 probably, but Australia would love to have 150. But that's the all extreme decisions. Hetmeyer's in for 10. Butler's on the third. Rajasthan Royals are now, after 15 overs practically, they're 3 for 103. So the last 5 overs they got to really sharp. So it's not Butler's got 37. This is 13th match, by the way. Let's have a look here. Where's the? I should show the. Only 6 minutes away from a start here. Tony versus Pakistan. That's very, very impressive, guys. So Wakar says 182 is the ideal score to chase down. I don't know why he gets 182. I think 200 is to chase down. So that's Pakistan. What are we saying? Pakistan need at least 182. Pakistan are batting first. And for Australia, anything below 182 is to their advantage. Is what Wakar Yunus is saying? I'm guessing that's what he's saying. It's I don't think Marnus Labuschagne deserves to be selected for the T20 side at all. He's just not a T20 style of batsman, if you ask me. ODI, yes. Test cricket, obviously. But T20, I don't know. I think that Ashton go in it because he can bat really well too. Maybe they are looking at some Labuschagne having a bowl, but I just don't see him as a solution to. Don't forget, this T20 side has been somewhat decimated. There's quite a few players out. The pitch looks actually pretty good, Nick. They're just showing it now. Australian team are coming out there. Are they going to have a ceremony? They're going to have national anthem because this is another format. Here they come now. The Australian and Pakistan side. Babar Azam's with his pads on. Rizwan's with his pads on. This is almost kind of fun for Pakistan in a way. Why is it fun? Because they've won the ODI series with the great thumping victory. They're very buoyant and deservedly so. Oh, God. National anthems once again. We are young and free. Waka says that 182 is the ideal score. I think Australia has mental advantage over Pakistan to win the crucial game. You take on this. Uncle Wake, I don't think so at all. Although Australia have won the World Cup. And on that basis, yes. But there's got a fair few changes going on there. A lot of debutants. Ashnagar should have played. I think almost certainly they made a mistake there. So 3 debutants. Well, it's hard to look at Marnus and Green as debutants, even though they are. They're not really, but the true Ben Dryhorse will feel the most proud because he has. Don't think he's played in any further format. There's Harris Ralph. Good on you, Harris Ralph. Where's Usman Khadir? Pakistan look very proud there, as they should. You got both Usman Khadir and Harris Ralph, two blokes I know very well. Yeah, we got there. Can we see them? Are they together? Yeah, there we are. So we can get a photo of these guys. Pakistan should be very, very happy. Let's see, look, get Ralph. I'll show the. Usman Khadir must be extremely proud. His dad, of course, named in the trophy the Benno Khadir Cup. That's a really big oh Jesus, my camera's playing up. No, I've had enough of this. Okay. Very exciting to see these young blokes play. Let's see if I can get a bit of picture here. There's some impromptu picturing here. You go. Yeah, look, it's a massive day. Massive day. Well, obviously, the likes of, well, this is a huge day for him. Cameron Green and Labuschagne maybe not as overwhelmed, but it's still a big deal for them. And obviously for Ismail Kadir and Harris Ralph, big deals against Australia at Lahore, in Lahore, home ground. Can't get much bigger than that, guys. Can't get much bigger than that. I don't think Australia's got a mental advantage. I think Pakistan would, based on what we've seen them do it now. So let's have a look here. Waiting for some visuals of Usman Kadir. This is I'm taking. Great to see anthems. I think it brings out a little pride in the players. There was Harris Ralph. Pakistan crowd going berserk. Great pride. They've got great pride, haven't they? Waiting for a close-up of Usman Kadir. It's difficult. Doesn't happen. That's all right. Huge match. So, okay, Rizwan's taken a single off the first ball there when the game started. Rizwan's single off the first ball off, and Travis heads up in the bowling. I've seen everything there. Travis heads opening the bowling. I thought he was opening the batting. Why is he opening the bowling? This is a bizarre choice. I guess they're thinking that Pakistan didn't expect this to be the case. So far, he's gone for a single off his first two balls. And bizarre single. Travis had opened the bowling for Australia in a T20 match. Something's diabolically wrong here. It's the surprise factor, perhaps. Other than that, I'm sorry, I'm completely gobsmacked. Travis said there's a crap bowler. Could go for it. Josh Ingles keeping looks very impressive. A very deep field for the first over of the match. There's a bit 3 off the first over so far, off 4 balls. It's not exactly hitting sixes. But Brazil will be very happy with that start. 4 or 5. Got a feeling Rizwan will hit a 6 off the last ball. That's my thoughts. Let's have a look here. Travis had opened the bowling. What the hell? With already a deep mid on. This is defensive to say the least. But I'm not. And there he is, Rizwan. As I expected, he's hit a 6 off the last ball. I think did I just predict that? And I was dead on. It's a 10 off the first over. Great selection. Travis Head as the opening bowler. Bloody dumb. Travis Head went for 10. Very economical. First over from a rank, bloody average part-time bowler. And Bubba Azam just, sorry, Usman said, I'm not going to let him get away with this. And he's hitting for 6. Lined him up and just worked out where he chose where he hit him, and it careered over the boundary for a 6. So that's 10 off the opening over. Tactics to bring Travis Head on, dumb. No one can say 10 off the first over is a good over. No one. Complete and utter mistake. Travis Head opening the bowling for Australia. What the hell? Hopefully it's his last over. I'm surprised that Labuschagne coming on next. So that's the issue. Adam Finch is disappointed. Ben Dahus is coming in, and he's been hit for a boundary first ball. Not a great start for Ben. I'm slightly put off by Travis Head bowling the first over. They waited a little bit. They thought, I'm bugging this. He needs to go for 6, and he did. He's gone for 10 on his first over. And it was beautifully hit wide of point there. Well, as I'm just beautifully, it was aerial, but safe as houses. It's gone for 4. Wilson must be pretty excited to be given the chance to play. Look, it's worth it. We got Baranov there, so I don't know. I am Assad Mamazad. Great match, test match. My country. Anyway, yeah, good on you. So for 5 off the over 3 balls. Rizwan, we'll find the boundary. I'd say the next few balls we'll have probably well over 20 in the first 2 overs. Not a good start. A debutant bowling the second over and an absolute part-timer bowling the first over. Is that what the Australian bowling lineup was all about? Travis Head. If anyone were to tell me that we'd open the bowling for Australia at a T20 international against Pakistan, that you'd open the bowling with Travis Head and Joel Hus, I would have said you got your head read. You need your head read. That's an awful opening punch. I'm sorry, Joel Hus. Well, he's a good enough bowler, but in his very first match, let's see. This one's got a single ball that was there to be pulled. That's 6 off the overs so far. Still 2 balls left. Very likely Bombers will score a century. Sorry, score a century, yes, but we'll get a 4 or 6 off the last 2 balls, and we've gone for 20 off the first 2 overs. That can't be good in anyone's books. There's a bit of, it looks like string at the edge of the picture. I was imagining, what is that? $125 Ks. This is an opening bowler. Compare these two to Shaheen Shah Afridi and Haris Ralph. No comparison. Those two are utter pace and great bowling. Rohus is not our best bowler, and Travis is shouldn't be bowling at all. And it looks like he's hit a beautiful, magnificent shot. It may not go to the boundary, or it's got Ellis has done a good job of getting around to it. And they've got 2 off that. So 18 off the first 2 overs. So Bharat Yadav, thank you from the hole, and so do Rowan. Okay, so 18 off the first 2 overs, 9 and over. That's not a good start. If Travis had bowls another over, they need their head read. The experiment with that first over, that was a huge experiment, thinking that him being, the one they didn't like, most unlikely to be facing, well, he got 10 off him, 8 off the second over. So 8 off first overs is not a good start by any stretch of the imagination. For 2 extremely experienced people like Rizwan and Babar Azam, this is like, and of course, head's been dumped. Shouldn't have been on in the first place. Another huge mistake for a team that on a World Cup, opening the bowling Travis Head. What the hell? Shouldn't even have been considered. Not even considered. Sure, is not a bad bowler, but let's look at the first 3 bowlers for Australia. Travis Head, to Ahus, and Sean Abbott. They would not have been in my calculations to be in the side, or any of those 3. So we've got to deplete the side here for sure. But this is awful. You would hope that Pakistan would get well over 200, or at least 200, and then it'll make it very difficult for Australia. Babazam's got this magnificent way he plays the ball. Just beautiful to watch. Stoinis hasn't really lived up to it. He's off to the IPL in the short while he's, his first came off the rank in the IPL, getting a lot of money there. Hasn't performed that well for Australia of late. But he paid millions to play in the IPL for sure. And Babazam was just smacked with great ease. Nathan Ellis has been running around the boundary heavily in the first 2 overs, 3 overs now. And it's been slightly more economical, but you'd want to. Their run rate's still 7. It was 10, it was 9, now it's 7, but got 3 balls left. There's a bit of time in this over to go. Both openers have gone. This one's 9 off 5 and Bubba's 11 off 10. They're both starting brilliantly. No, the first ball was way too, was over the stumps by an absolute mile. Rob Key, Kasparov and Buzzard Kana. Savage bowled reasonable though. Why he didn't bowl the first over is beyond me. A magnificent drive there. And it's only a single. Beautiful wrist work. One ball left. I'd love to see Rizwan hit a big six. He gets two. It's gone from 10 and over, 9 over, 8 and over. It's still solid start. Needs a scoring shot this last ball. No. He had to reach for that. It's a bit of a comeback. 3 off the over from Mcdermott. 10, 8, and 3. So why would you have someone bowling 10? Oh God. Travis Head, what a mistake that was. Jesus. Very impressive. So yeah. That is from the bowling. It's just get the old charger here. I'm running a bit of low on battery. It is, don't forget, it is currently 1:43 a.m. in the morning here in Australia, which is Nathan Ellis has come to use 4 different bowlers in the first 4 overs. And Babazam's taken to him. Didn't get a run though. Australian bowling lineup: Travis Head, Dale Bush, Sean Abbott, Nathan Ellis. None of those 4 were anywhere near a T20 World Cup team. So we're scraping the bottom of the barrel, I'm sorry, at the moment. 4 balls. Ash Nagar should have got a Guernsey in this match. Bubba's decided, didn't take me long. He's got sick of this over the top 4 runs, and I think we're going to see a lot more of this now. The 26 for none. And I'm seeing some. Josh Butler was out 54 in 42 balls. That was greatest of these, just stood there and delivered. So Rajasthan rolls a 3 for 146. But Razam's just going for it. He's just hit 2 4s. He's decided I'm not going to put up with Nathan Ellis's pedestrian pace. And he's just smashed 2 4s to the greatest of these. They're none for 30 now. And they've got still 3 balls left in the over. So, 3 more of these shots. We're up to 40. We got a 10 run and over right again. Razam's just whacked him beautifully into a gap. There's no one deep. It's child's play here. Yeah, Ellis has got 3 deliveries left, and the score's 30, so it's just about 8 and over now. Let's just see if beautifully flicked, and there's another 4. Another 4, 3 4s in a row. Bubba's on 24 of 16. Scores 34 into the 4th over. Well over 8, heading for 9 and over. Probably even going to be. There's still 2 balls left. We could easily see 10 and over again. This is a very, very substandard Australian bowling. I'm sorry. Let's go through it again. Travis Head opened the bowling, went for 10. Crap. Shouldn't even be ball in his hands. Zampa's they're letting, but he hasn't even bowled it. So why would you put Travis Head on it? Crap. There's no surprise factor other than beauty. It's 10 runs. Jahus, debutant. Give him a break. He tried his best, but he only got 8 off him. And then Ben and Sean Abbott, only one was bowled commendably with 3 off his over. So far, Ellis has gone for 13. Scores 35. So Ahmed Rizwan is facing the last delivery. He could easily hit a 6 off this last ball. We've gone to 10 runs and over. Ellis has gone for 13. And I don't know much about his history, but his bowling to me is awful. Very pedestrian speed. So our horses are pedestrian. Abbott's reasonable. I'm not going to knock him. Yeah, for 2? No, they're not. Okay, so that's 36. It's 9 runs and over. That over went for 14. So none for 36 off 4. 9 and over. This one's 10 off 7, which is almost conservative for him. Bubba's 25 off 17, taking the charge already. This is heading for a total of 180 minimum, more like 200. And that will be not, I don't think Australia will get that. It's early, I'll grant that. But these two will not just start well, they'll finish well. They have bowled, if this faced a very ordinary first 4 overs, with Sean Abbott then has bowled reasonably well, and he got 3 off his over, but the other 3 have got 11 on average for the overs. It's an unusual shot from, it's almost like Rizwan's reaching for that. So we've had 4 different bowlers, and at least Abbott's shown being given the second over. Else, mess. Bubba was outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. He tried to take him on there, and he almost got through. Good, but a fairly good ball though. Ricky Ponting, Aussie Macron. Okay, good players. Australia have used 4 different bowlers in their first 5 overs. And none of those 4, except for maybe Sean Abbott, deserve their spot. Sean Abbott's bowled reasonably well. Team Packs and keep the winning momentum going. I agree. Abbott's been sound. He's gone only for 1 off his first 3 deliveries. But they're going to make hay on the other bowlers. Oh, God. But was already 25. He's getting new gloves. 26, actually. He could, with this trajectory, could be on 100. There you go. I've said it. Gaddafi, same Lahore, magnificent venue. Their Sri Lanka beats Australia in the World Cup final in 1906. Bit of swing there, actually. It's gone for 5 off. Yeah, love a shame. T20 Platinum? No. Is he mates with someone? Beautiful ball, actually slower. And he had a bit of swing to it. Sean Abbott's bowled pretty commendably. Oops, didn't quite go where he wanted it to. So none for 40. Of 5. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. It's 8 novas. It was 9 before. Now it's gone into 8, but it's still 8 novas. What's that, 160? It's not good enough. It's got to be more than that. They've got plenty of time, though. And with Bubba Azam now 27 already after 5 overs, After 10, he can be 50, and after 20, he can be 100. And that's probably where he's heading. And Rizwan hasn't really taken off just yet. He's been a bit stifled. But thank God they had Abbott ball 7 off 2 overs, because the other 3 have gone for 33. So Horse has come back on for his second. Head won't be seen again, and Ellis probably won't be seen again. Maybe at the end, maybe. The 2 New South Welshmans, as in Dahus and Abbott. And they're about to go. Oh, yes, there's 2 there. They're gone for 2. So Dahus is expensive. Ellis is ultra expensive, and Travis Head was a complete and utter waste of time. Who would ever bowl Travis Head in a T20? I wouldn't. Barbara Thumbs just constantly put that ball. Fortunately, the field ball was beautifully picked up and whacked. Barbara, with the greatest of ease, has gone to 30. The man that scored centuries in the tests with 196 centuries, 2 ODI centuries, is on 30 in this T20 and could well be heading for 100. If he's there at the end, he's on 100. Brisbane's there at the end, he's on 100, scores 200. That's my prediction. These 2 batters continue the way they are, they'll have scored 200 by the end of the 20 overs. Oops, Josh Inglis missed that one. It did bounce. Cheeky little shot. It was intentional. He's like played it like a cut, and Josh Inglis couldn't take it. A little difficult. He should have taken that. Josh Inglis should have taken that. It was well within his glove reach. 47 into the 6th. And there's Rizwan's the ball, not as the fielder. So far we've gone for what? 3, 7, 8 off the first 4 balls. Who's this? They're on scoring areas early today. It's talking scoring areas of certain players. Oh, magnificent shot from Bubba. Has walked away and just clobbered it over mid-off for 6. Bubba's is on 36 off 24. That's now 10, 11, 12, 14 off the over. Staggering. Beautiful shot. 54 off 6, almost 6. So they're on 9 now. And if he gets another 6 like that, he'll be on 10 and over. That's what they want. Beautifully played. Greatest of it. Bubba Azam, what a player. He's got 1 ball left. They've had 14 off the over so far. If he finishes with a 6, it's 60 off 6. These 2 will get 200 easily if they're still in. Robinson's covered away. It's gone for at least, it's gone a little gap. There'll be at least 2 there. So 56 off 6. More than 9.33 as an average. So looking at least 180. These 2 are still in. It'll be 200. Rajasthan Royals at 3 for 169 after there. So Rajasthan Royals at 3 for 169 after their 20 overs. Which is, quite a, I'm guessing Butler, honestly. Butler was 70 off 47, and hit by 42.32. That's pretty good. But was running on 38 over here. It's just ridiculous. Innings break there. And Bubba's assists. They had to chase Australia's score. It would have been a cakewalk. But at least now they've got to put on the runs to make it interesting. But they get over 200, they won. These two, they've already hit 57. Okay. Centuries in Test cricket. 196 is a magnificent one. Centuries in ODI. And now centuries, well, at least 50s at this early stage, but could well be hundreds from Bubba's on. The way he's going. Adam Zampa finally gets the Guernsey and he's been hit for 4. Has he? Yes, looks like he has. Bubba's raced to 42. Not the start that you would want. It was short and it asked to be hit. And he got hit. So we'll need about very well. But the Australian bowling line, except for Zampa and maybe Abbott, are a very poor comparison. So I'm sorry. Travis head out with the bowler. What planet were Australia on? This all was a surprise tactic, was it? Didn't work. Established a great. He's middled everything. He's middled everything, Bubba. That was a good delivery from that. Was a very good delivery there from Adam Zampa, who is quality. Should be playing Test cricket. Should be ahead of Shrepson. Adam Zampa should be playing Test cricket ahead of Shrepson. I do not understand why he's not. He's a great short form bowler. We know that he's in the IPL. He's done well, T20 World Cups, but he should also be our Test bowler. Magnificent bowler. Having said that, he's bowled a very short ball there and hasn't got away with it, but he's a great Adam Zampa. A lot of time for him. A lot of time indeed. So, guys, we've gone 2 hours, 22 minutes, and I'm guessing you're starting to wane at 62. I'm keen on playing. I want to go right through this. Bubba's 43 not out. Those one's probably not quite the same form. Butler again. Butler is a significant player, there's no doubt. It's 9 for 63 after 7. So effectively that's 9. It's 9, 18, 27, 36, 45. 54, 68, that's right. So it's 9 and 0. Cam Green's come on now. He's a good test bowler. T20, I don't know whether he's quite there at that level. Being his first match, we'll give him some sort of slack, but Bubba's isn't good. One's a bit more pedestrian. Yes. He's bowling quite well, is Green. Incredibly well run. And Rizwan's limping a little bit there, or Zampa. Oh, no, that was why, because he got hit himself in the leg. So there's some bruising there. So more just bruising rather than anything tendon or hamstring related. Good bowling from Green. There'll be two there. There should be two there. There is. There's massive gaps there. There's 2 runs every single time. He's not walking really. He needs a bit of help with that leg. So Pakistan's highest power play scores against in the T20I is today at 9.33. So that's a pretty damn good indication where they're at, isn't it? Certainly is an indication of where they're at for sure. And for 67 off into the 8th over. Yes. We'll just have to wait and see what's going on here. This Babar Azam is obviously getting lauded over because of his batting. He looks fantastic. Looks magnificent. He does, doesn't he? So, as we know, the first test was a drawn test. Second test was also a drawn test. Australia won the third test by 115 runs. Congratulations, Australia. But then the ODIs came around. Australia won the first match by 88, quite convincingly. Second ODI, Pakistan won by 6 wickets. The third by 9 wickets. And today, so Australia have won 2 matches out of 6 so far, and Pakistan have won 2. We're 2 drawn. An overall sense of so 2 all, 2 draws, and this one. So this is kind of the selection. There's Ramesh Raja. So 2 ODI wins to Pakistan, an ODI and test win to Australia, and now that's 2 all and 2 draws leads to this being a kind of decider for all of the 7 matches. 7 matches. He's had a bit of a rub down on Rizwan to get rid of that bruising. Oh, Cameron Green's just clean bowled him. Yeah, Rizwan was falling over for most of his innings, and the break didn't do him any good at all. So that's a good break for him. Cam Green coming on, bowling and getting a wicket. So he's proven his T20 worth straight away. The ball will come in, and he played this strange, it sort of falls over, unusual. And Cam Green, worthy of being in the side, isn't it? Rizwan didn't look happy, and that injury put him off a little bit too. So Vakar Saman, and he can bat. Got to go from ball 1. Cam Green, first over, took a wicket. Pretty impressive start. So if they're viewing for the first time, please view, like, and share the posts, and hit the subscription button for Eyes on Cricket with Nolan Kostek, and this notification button. You'll get more introductions into my channel. Fakar Zaman. Explosive. Rizwan didn't look quite there today. So Zaman's 31. He's had 65 matches. He scored 750s. This is a T20 format, that is. He's averaging 22. Let's see what he's like in this match. He won't be getting 100, but Australian cricketers are intelligent cricket as well. Cameron Green certainly is worthy of that attention, but Travis said, what planet were we on putting him in? Oh, first that was a shocker. Oh my God. First ball, duck. Zaman's just clobbered him, but straight to mid-on. And Finch has taken a screamer. And Green has got he's on a hat-trick. Zaman's not happy. He got an absolute shocking full toss the first ball and clobbered straight down the throat of Aaron Finch, who took an absolute hot catch. Green didn't deserve it, but he's quite happy. Zaman absolutely clobbered it, but straight to mid-on. What's the story? Full toss, first ball. You can try and hit it at the ground, but you're very likely to hit it to a field, and that's exactly what he did. That's disappointing. It's just coming in now at number 4. Iftikhar has come in. We're strongly built. Iftikhar Ahmed has played 18 matches. He's 31 as well. Only the 150. Best is 62. That wasn't his average 32. He seems okay. It's hard to know how good he is because we'll see now. Don't forget the PSL form is significant and on these grounds as well, which will certainly help them. But Zaman didn't know what to do with the full toss. Hit it straight to mid-on. Beautifully hit, but to a fielder. Cam Green's on a hat-trick. His first T20 international. Hi, love from Odisha. Thank you. Dinesh Sung. You got a single, so there we go. Good over for Australia, not good for Pakistan. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. Sure. So they're still on 8 and over. Do you want me to keep going, guys? Tell me in your messaging whether you want me to keep going, because I have gone for 2.5 hours now. And I'm probably, it's about, it must be 4 in the morning, is it? Oh, because I started earlier, of course it's 2 in the morning. So what do you think, guys? At 2 for 68, 8 and over. Barbara Azam still on 43 and over. He's important here. Fakar Zaman got out first ball, which is not what he would like to do. If he goes there, Kushtal, he can battle. We saw him playing the ODIs, but Tourism will ball on 6 minutes. Shaheen and me. Confidence, can I get a wish? Well, that's Repson. Was it a Phil then? I don't think he was on the team. Absolutely clobbered that man. And Fish took a fantastic catch. The man was a bit shell-shocked. Watch this. Bubba Zam was just, he's looking, saying, what happened there? That's a good question. There's a bug. Bubba's needs to take hold now. It's been a bit of a lull there with that last over. 2 wickets falling. Nice to see Bubba's get a century. Well, it may not happen now. He can still get a 50. He's still can get that. It's not a bad little effort from Bubba's. Let's see how Bubba's goes now. He's given if the guy's got the strike. Bubba's on 44 not out. Realistically, Bubba's been a revelation for quite some time now. So the last lives we had 13, 4.9, 9.3. I went about 5.6 now, so it's pretty good. Would have expected a bit more, but anyway. In comes Kushtil. Asif Ali's gone down the order. I thought he was batting 4. But oh, Jesus. Who was that there? Is it Swipson? If it is Swipson, what's he doing on the field? Because he's not in the 11. Yeah, Swipson's on the field. So who went off? Because I'm pretty sure Swipson's not in the 11, is he? I'm a pressure building on Finch a little bit. If Finch don't score runs against Sri Lanka ODI series, I think he will be dropped from the ODI spot. It could well be the case, but it's going to. I think Aaron Finch is a long way from being dropped by anyone. So Head, Douglas, Abbott, Ellis, Samper, Green. Green has been outstanding, but definitely in the squad itself. I'm just going to confirm this. The Australian level is Finch, Head, Inglis, Labuschagne, Stoinis, Cameron Green. So Stoinis is involved. Cameron Green, Ben McDermott, Sean Abbott, Douglas, Nathan Ellis, and Zampa. There's no sign of Swipson in that 11. So what's going on for him to be on the field so quickly? I just want to see Bubba get a century and then we'll stop. Bubba's century, 196 in Test. I think he got that one as well. 2 in the ODIs. He's now very close to getting a 50 in the 220. Just magnificent. Just bat so well. Let's be more on there. He's starting to cruise a little bit there. He's on 46. Cameron Green, the full toss that just went straight down Aaron Finch's throat. Canberra must think this is all too easy. At 22, he's playing Test, ODI, and now T20 cricket. Takes 2 wickets, always gets a hat trick. Phenomenal. It's down. How can that be? He should be calling that was down leg side. Oops. No point in reviewing that because that was so down the leg side. It might as well be a 5th stump. Bubba was toned down a little bit. If he's there at the finish, they're going to be total. He's going to sort of 4 runs down the leg side. There it is. Bubba's 50. Having scored 196 in the Test series, 2 ODIs, centuries, and now a 50 in the 220 format. The guys are unashamed, big time. He's 26.50. He's got the 1 century. And he's got in 9.4 overs, he scored 50, so another 9.4. He could be 100 if he's still there. He hits the ball so well. So there's been, what, 5, 6, 7 off the over so far. Bubba's scored 2 centuries against Australia in an experienced bowling attack. Sorry, Tabashis, don't make me angry. Categorically do not suggest that Bubba Azam is inferior to what he's getting. He is top shelf. This is magnificent. Every format now. Sorry, you're completely and utterly wrong. I'm not even going to entertain this, against poor bowling, blah, blah, blah. No, he has batted particularly well and is an incredible batsman. At the moment, Joe Root's the only one that's in front of him statistically, or I think. And Usman Khawaja's certainly up there as well. Kane Williamson's injured, I would say he was up there, and Coley and Smith are doing quite well. And Labuschagne's had a pretty poor recent series. So, no, I'm sorry, you're completely wrong. Bubba Azam's batting for he's not inexperienced, but you've got to hit the runs. And Australia do take T20 series slightly. Australia come to Pakistan to win the Test series, and Australia win the Test series. Yeah, but they were beaten comprehensively in the ODIs. That last match was a horrible performance by Australia, and well played by Pakistan. They're playing pretty well now. They got an 8 runs and over after 10, 2 for 8. Bubba's 51 is magnificent. Bubba is really on the same wavelength of what Coley was during his prime. Richie, I totally agree. Centuries in tests, ODIs, and well over 50 in his T20. If he keeps going the way he is, he will get 100 in the next 10 overs. There's no doubt. No, you're completely wrong. Completely wrong. At 196 in the second test was absolutely magnificent. Every single Australian bowler and player agrees. So, no, you're not right. That was well up there with those guys. No doubt. And he's got a full toss of a beautiful drive. It was to actually. It was well played by Iftigar. Very well played. Iftigar looks pretty good. Bubba 4 p.m. Wait a minute. Imran Khan's got that position now. Is there 2 on that? No, yeah, take the 1. "12 runs and overseas 200. Well, that's going to be hard pressed, but you never know. Asif Ali, who bats higher, I thought. Crystal certainly performed well in the ODI, so I rate him. So they're still going at 8 and over. Probably gets a century. It'll hit the roof. He can still do it. 53. All right, guys, we might call it quits there. I think we've had a pretty good run tonight. It's been a great match so far. Anything else has come back? Ooh, that's a bit of a risk, isn't it? Let's be honest. If they go, no fear there. Hit the ball nicely into the gap. All right, guys, I think we might stop there. So it's Pakistan now 2 for 90 after 11.1 overs. Bubba Zum's batting really well. It's a lovely drive there by, I think that was Iftikhar. Love to see Bubba Zum get a century, without a doubt. He's on 54 now. Good delivery from Cameron Green, I must say. Speeds weren't that high. Then he bowled rank full toss. Bubba absolutely took to Ellison the first over, and I would like to see him do it. A lot of bat speed through with these shots, isn't there? Bubba Zum's got a lot of bat speed. He's what, 55 now? Yeah, 55. Once again, the key to this performance is Bubba Zum. And he's just, Iftikhar's just given a nick behind him. Yeah, there's not much support going on there. All right, guys, we're going to leave it at that. That's gone for 2 hours of webinar. We've very much enjoyed it. Pakistan are 3 for 93 now. Iftikhar out off Ellis, just virtually 12 overs now. Pakistan is still in a pretty good position with Bubba Azam still there, so that's great. We'll talk to each other again after the series. It's been a great series between Pakistan and Australia. The test series, magnificent. 3 great tests. Australia came out on top. 3 great ODIs. Pakistan well and truly came out on top there. And now the T20, which looks like it might go under the wire, but I think Pakistan may have their measure, depending on how things go. So thank you for your time, guys. We'll be heading into the IPL again. We've got a series of Sri Lanka coming up in the future. We've got the World Cup down the track. The Australia-Pakistan series, in particular, towards the end in Lahore, Rawalpindi, and obviously in Karachi before that, has been absolutely magnificent. I've got great viewership throughout the series. I've had I've got some 5,000-6,000 today, 30,000 yesterday, and I've had some of my posts have gone into the millions and the 700,000. I'm very, very happy. Please continue to subscribe to the channel, continue to share the channel, and look out for notifications. I support Pakistan, I support Australia, I support India, I support the world, quite frankly. The subcontinent in particular is my stronger point. I'm very impressed. Kushal Shahs has come in. But thank you to all your efforts. It's been really appreciated during the series. I'll be on every day, as you know. I'm one of the post-match debrief of the series as well. We might get Mohsen Sheikh in there, who's got COVID at the moment. That's why he's not online now. But it's been magnificent, guys. So thank you very much. It is now in Australia. It is now 2:27 a.m. in the morning, and I think it's time for me to sign off. But Pakistan others with a 3 for 93. Pushjul sort of looks like he's great after his ODI series, and Bubba's there with him on 55, who could well get 100. All right, guys. So thank you for your time. Anyone, those that are here, please subscribe to my channel and also to my notification channel. View, like, and share the posts. Get people subscribed. That is the key to a successful channel. No cost to you, but it means a lot to me. So please do watch, but also subscribe. Hit the button. It doesn't hurt to do that. And I would really appreciate you doing that. So thank you again. I was on 2 hours, 55 minutes or thereabouts. We'll talk to each other very soon again. All the best. Bye.